Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Soldier 76 from Overwatch and how you should be playing him as a beginner, and maybe a couple of tips for intermediate play as well. But yeah, let's talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the X-Filled Hideout. My name is Ghost. If you guys have never been here before, I'm very excited you guys are here. Today we're going to be doing another Overwatch guide, and this is actually the first hero guide. The other one was more of like who you should be as a beginner, which I will make sure that I link for you guys. This video is going to be specifically how you should be playing Jack Morrison, Soldier 76 from Overwatch. To those of you who have been coming into the YouTube channel and leaving tons of love with likes, sharing videos on Facebook and Twitter, and doing all the things like subscribing, thank you guys so much. For those of you who have never been here and just got here, this is a place where we talk about the games we play, the lives we live, and how we can look for ways to help each other be better than we were the day before. Better than yesterday is the motto, one stream at a time, one day at a time. If you guys feel like you vibe with that, if you want to see more FPS content, doing videos on Valorant, which is dropping live June 2nd. Super excited about that, dropping videos on Apex Legends, and dropping videos, more videos on Overwatch. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell if you want to be notified when more of these videos go live. And if this video brings you some value, like makes you a better player, make sure you give it a thumbs up. It goes a long way for the channel, and I truly appreciate it. Before we get into the video, I just want to say, guys, that I do stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. PST. Play a variety of different games. I would love for you guys to come by the stream and talk about this stuff live, play some games live, and even just jump into the Discord and hang out with us. There's 200+ people that would love to see you there, so make sure you do those things, and then all the links you guys need will be down below. But really, we do have a lot of fun in the stream. It is definitely a time where we get to hang out with each other, play some games, and I think you'll like it. Okay, no more talking. Let's get into this guide. So here we are with the very first Overwatch hero guide, and we're starting with none other than one of the greatest heroes in the Overwatch universe, and that is Jack Morrison, who is from Bloomington, Indiana. Now, I don't want to get too deep into his lore, only because I will actually want to do a lore series where we get really deep into the Overwatch lore and talk about the different heroes, so I'll save that for then. But you guys, what you need to know is that Jack Morrison, who you know, Soldier 76, is essentially a vigilante in the Overwatch world who is trying to expose the truth behind Overwatch's demise and collapse that has happened. Due to his genetic enhancement, he can basically heal his wounds faster than a normal human. He is of the Catholic faith. He has a smile that he uses to get him out of trouble. He is also a chess player who admires Bobby Fischer. And lastly, he wears a mask that distorts his voice. But more than anything, Jack Morrison is a man in his mid to late 50s who used to be in the American military and is American, who essentially is a symbol of justice and peace in the Overwatch world. And I promise you, if you like this game, you will grow to love Soldier 76. If you come from some of these other FPS titles like Call of Duty or Apex Legends, I think you guys will be very comfortable choosing Soldier 76, which is why I recommended him being top 5 beginner heroes, because he definitely does run around. He has a pulse rifle that is like a machine gun, and there's a lot of characteristics that he utilizes that makes him almost like that run and gun hero that you've been using in other games. So let's get right into the abilities. The first one we're going to talk about, which is just your basic running, is called Sprint. And the cool thing about Sprint is you get to add 15% increase to your mobility. There's not a lot to talk about it other than that. The other thing that I want to say real quick is when you cancel Sprint, there is like a 0.3 second recovery period, so you can't just like sprint right up to somebody and just start shooting right away. There is that small little recovery period that's going to affect how quickly you can react, how quickly you can reload, and all of that. You can also drop a biotic field to cancel the sprint recovery animation. So if you run up to somewhere, like run up to your team and then drop biotic field, you should be good. The weapon that Soldier 76 is using is called a heavy pulse rifle, which is like a machine gun. It's a hit scan weapon. The thing about this weapon though is because it's like a machine gun, assault rifle type style of weapon, people think that they want to hold it down on full auto, but the problem is the bloom is very bad on this weapon, or very dramatic, I should say, not bad. What that means, bloom is what happens after the first few shots are fired. It means that the spread isn't tight anymore. It begins to widen to the point of being inaccurate if you're holding it down. So what you want to use this weapon for is you want to use it for bursting. The first 3 shots are the most accurate, and then after that, the spread will increase as you get to around 9 rounds, and then it kind of caps right there, and then it just stays very wide. You have 25 rounds per magazine, so just make sure you burst and you should be good. You could get very accurate shots pretty far bursting. The fall off range is about 30 to 50 meters, so you should be able to do pretty good. In other words, just practice some self-control with this weapon and don't just hold down left click. The next ability we're going to talk about is Helix Rockets, which pair very well with your bursting. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to burst somebody down, and then you're going to want to finish them with a Helix Rocket. If a tracer's up in your face, get a couple shots in and then hit a Helix Rocket to the ground, get that splash damage or a direct hit. A direct hit is 120 damage, which is very useful. Splash damage ranges from between like 40 and 80, and every 6 seconds you will have this Helix Rocket. It has about a 3-meter radius, but this is very, very useful for burning down like Reinhardt shields, for burning down Orisa shields, or any shields for that matter, and making sure that you can put in that damage in that radius. Definitely firing it into thickets of crowds in between chokes is also good. So if the whole team is crowded in between like the choke on King's Row, then it will be very useful to be able to burst them down and then keep doing Helix Rockets as much as possible to get those shields down, especially if they're rocking like a double shield meta trying to keep you out. Next, we're going to talk about another ability called Biotic Field. This ability is so sweet because it cannot be destroyed, which means you get to put it down wherever you want and not worry about trying to hide it because nobody's going to be able to take it out. So the cool thing about this, it's a 4.5 meter radius that you get to just place down on you and your teams. This is something that you don't want to keep for yourself. So if you're flanking and you're using it, you use it if you need to, but most of the time you're going to get the most benefit out of this is if you use it for your team. It's extra heals for your team, healing at 40 health per second, and then you can get 204 health over the entire duration. So it's very useful, and you get it every 15 seconds. So make sure that you're using Biotic Field to help win those team fights. When they're pushing super tough and you guys are concentrated in your little death ball sitting there fighting back, drop that Biotic Field on your team and they will be grateful, and the healers will also be grateful because you're contributing. With that being said, it is very useful if you are flanking and somebody is trying to focus you, you drop it down and it makes you a lot harder to kill, especially if there's like a Pharah that's trying to drop down on you, if there's a Tracer pushing over to you, or if you're dueling with another Soldier 76 and they haven't used Biotic Field. Take advantage of that and try to eliminate them with that Burst Helix Rocket combo before they're able to place their Biotic Field. You're going to want to be preemptive when you're getting into engagements like this. Lastly, we're talking about Soldier 76's ultimate, which is essentially aimbot. Yeah, sounds crazy, I know. It's called Tactical Visor, and that's essentially what it does. It aims for you. All you have to do is shoot. Now, what I will say is I see people use this as a beginner player very often, and it's just completely wasted, and you're countered very easily. So your biggest counters are essentially going to be shields, because you can't target people behind shields, and D.Va, because D.Va is known to get her Matrix and push right up into your face. It's an actual tactic, and you're just going to waste it because you're going to be shooting your whole ultimate into the Matrix and it's going to get eaten up. So a couple things that you want to know when using this is flanking. It's very useful for flanking if they're focusing on your team and you're behind the shields, taking out the heals first and then the rest of the team. And then the other thing that's very useful is making sure, like I will straight up call it. I'll say, hey guys, I'm going to use Tac Vise once shield breaks. As soon as that Reinhardt shield breaks, use Tac Visor. As soon as D.Va's out of mech, use Tac Visor. But you don't really want to use it when D.Va's still roaming around in mech and shields are up. You want to try to make sure as many things as possible are eliminated, or even try to like eventually bait out Zenyatta's ult because it'll cancel it, bait out Lucio's ult because it'll cancel it, and then after their ults are already done, then you get your 6 seconds of mayhem, and that's how you're going to want to use Tac Vise. Now, there is other times where Tac Vise is very useful. Like for instance, if you have a Pharah that is just farming your team and you cannot get her out of the sky, it is worth it to use your ult on that Pharah and get her out of the sky. If she's causing that much chaos and you guys aren't able to win these team fights, your ultimate is worth that death, because if that's the only thing holding back your team from pushing or taking a point, by all means use it. Don't save it until you have the perfect opportunity, because sometimes the perfect opportunity never comes with TacVise and you end up wasting it, and you don't want to die with TacVise in your pocket and lose the match knowing that you could have changed the fight. So now that we've talked about a lot of the abilities of Soldier 76, let's talk a little bit about how you play Soldier 76. So the main thing to understand is, even though I talked about flanking with Soldier 76, Soldier 76, unlike Genji or Tracer, maybe even Reaper, is not really a flanking hero. He is a front line hero. You want to play him with Reinhardt, Orisa, whoever's pushing in that front line. You want to be behind shield, and you want to be putting down that AoE heal, right? You want to be knocking that steady damage with your burst weapon. You want to be getting the picks that you need, while also at the same time pressuring like Pharah's, pressuring Ana in the back line, any heals in the back line, along with maybe Widow or Hanzo. But essentially, you want to be in the front line. That's where you should be. Now, if you want to get a separate line of sight while your team pushes, make sure you utilize your biotic field, and then make sure you utilize your sprint to come back to your team. But don't try to do like a full flank, because that's not really where your kit is going to thrive. Your kit is going to thrive pushing with your team in the front. So that is when you're pushing teams. Let's talk about when you're defending a Soldier 76. How you want to defend, like let's just say you're on Numbani, is you want to defend always on the high ground. At all times, for the most part, Soldier needs to be on high ground. Why? Because you have a better vantage point. Those headshots are going to be easier. You overall have a better angle. It gives you over cover. There's so many advantages to being on high ground, and that's essentially where you want to be. You don't want to be on the ground level where everybody else is, up in the mix, right? Now, pushing is a little bit different. So get that high ground if you are defending. And as you begin to get higher up the ladder on Overwatch, you are going to notice that most of the time, as you get to be with better players, they are all going to be high ground. You're not actually going to be separated. This is, I'm talking about, because it's a beginner guide, most likely you're going to be in lower ladder when you first start playing, which means your team is probably going to be in the low ground when you're defending, and you're going to be in the high ground with maybe an Ana or somebody else. But as you continue to get higher ladder, most of the time, everyone will be defending on high ground, because it's just better. It's better to be on high ground, I'll tell you right now, because when a team pushes into a point, you can collapse onto that point from high ground if they decide to go like around you or underneath you, or they begin to take the point. But if you're already on the low ground, they can actually get picks first and then move in with a higher advantage against you guys before you drop down. But that's for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching the guide. That pretty much wraps it up. If you guys want to see more content like this, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give it a little thumbs up if you guys benefited from this video. I would love to hear down in the comments down below what videos you guys want to see next. What hero do you want me to make a guide for next, or any other type of Overwatch content? Can't wait to see you guys in the live stream. Come talk about this stuff live, and let's get in some games. If you guys are tired of solo queuing, make sure you join the Discord. There's 200 plus like-minded individuals who love playing Overwatch. We have a ton of console players and PC players, so you should never be alone anymore. Come in there, make some new friends. Hope to see you in there soon. And as Jack would say, try not to get yourselves killed out there. We're all soldiers now. I hope you guys are very blessed. I hope you have an amazing day or night, depending on where you're at in the world. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Was I in your recommended? Or did you find me browsing? Was I way, way down? Or was I way, way up? How long did you take to find me?